Hey, what's going on? How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing well. And yeah, welcome back to a new video. My name is Raj, and today I will tell you another story, a very juicy one of when I was a kid. And I had quite of a run-in of a dad from my best friend. I am 100% sure you will enjoy today's video, so make sure to stick through the end to find out how it ends. And you know the drill. If you want to be featured with your own story on my channel, you can send me an email with your story, and the email is rajbusiness@gmail.com. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So this story begins when I was in 4th grade and I got accustomed to my class. There was like a couple more kids in the class, like the new kids, and I kind of became best friends with one of the new kids in my class. Let's just say that the dad of this kid was incredibly strict with him. I don't know what the problem was, but I remember this one morning I was just minding my own business and all the kids were going to school and I was already sitting behind my desk, and there was quite a commotion in the hallways outside of the classroom. I wasn't in there, but like I heard someone kind of like being very, very angry, the dad of this dude, this best friend I had, and he was just totally like, he didn't care at all. Like his son did something and he wanted him to be put in his place. Like he was that strict. He didn't care about all the older parents that were, bringing their kids to school. They were also there. Like he didn't even care the slightest. He wanted to assert his dominance and authority and just be this incredibly strict dad. So after that whole shenanigans happened, like after school, I went up to him. By the way, his name was Dennis, just so you know it. And honestly, I was very surprised. I was shocked because like I always knew Dennis's mom, and Dennis's mom was just like the best woman ever. She was so nice. She would always greet us. She would always have the biggest smile on her face. She would give us candy. She would be so welcoming. And one day I decided to just go to Dennis's place because we were playing outside and it was very nice weather, but we also wanted to play with his Legos inside. So eventually he just invited me inside. But you see, I was very anxious and afraid because his dad, I already knew his dad's reputation that he was this really strict dude, but I mean, I didn't quite see what the fuss was all about. Maybe Dennis really screwed up and did something really bad and his dad just decided to put him in his place right then and there. Maybe it was 100% deserved. So I was like, okay, I don't know the whole story. Maybe his dad is not that bad. Like maybe it will all be very good. Or maybe his dad had an off day. Maybe that's not like his actual personality. Maybe he's not that strict. So I was like, the man was sitting in his house. He was actually on the couch watching TV and reading a newspaper. I went up to him. I was like, hey, I'm Dennis's new friend. Nice to meet you, sir. And he was just the friendliest like man ever. Like now I must admit he was a bit more on the serious side, but he looked me in the eye and he greeted me and I was like, there's nothing wrong with this man. So I immediately felt more comfy. But you see, Dennis's mom was still working and well, she was not home and she was kind of like the nice lady, just like I mentioned before. Well, this was actually gonna bite me in the ass later in the video, you will see, because Dennis invited me to play a little bit with his Legos and I had a lot of fun and nothing was really out of the ordinary. And I remember his sister, his older sister, was also in the house and his younger brother was jumping on the trampoline, which was like in their backyard. We were on the first floor of the house. I noticed that on their dinner table there was a glass bowl with a lot of candies in it. You name it. The chocolate candies like Mars or Snickers, something like that. I remember there was some marmalade and some other candy and I really wanted some candy. Like I really was looking at that bowl with all these different colors and it was so nice to see. But to be honest, I must admit that my parents, they kind of spoiled me with like food and candies and everything, because at my place, we had a fruit bowl we had on the table and And it was for the guests. Like every guest would just come into our house, and like every guest, every one of my mom's friends or dad's friends, like they would just come in and they would just know, oh, well, there's a bowl, you can just take it, you can take a banana, you can take, I don't know, like an apple, anything you want. And you see, I kind of had that mindset where I could just walk up to a bowl. If someone has a bowl in his house, I could just take a candy even without asking. Like, at least that's what my mom told me to, and I really had that sticking in my head. So of course, what do you know, I get up and I reach my hands to the bowl and I see Dennis's face, and his face was full of terror. Like, he was looking at me like I was about to commit the worst act ever and I would have to be arrested immediately, something like that. Like, it was really extreme. And I asked him, hey Dennis, well, what happened? Why are you watching? Why are you looking at me like that? And he's like, nothing, just carry on, do whatever you want. And I was like, well, okay. And I reach out my hands to the bowl, I grab a Bounty or something like that, like chocolate candy, and I open the wrapper and I quickly put the candy in my mouth. And at that point, I look behind me and Dennis's dad is literally slapping his newspaper on the table, violently raises himself up from the couch, and with like the angriest face, this man gives me the angriest face, and like he just walks up to me. He grabs me by the shoulder and physically just pushes me out of the house. And he's like, I never want to see your face here ever again in my house. How dare you take a candy without asking? And I just remember getting on my bike, because my bike was actually in their backyard, and he's just pushing me on my bike, and I barely, like, the front wheel of the bike was over the porch, the back wheel barely went over the porch of their, backyard door, and he just slammed the door behind me so hard that he actually slammed the door against the back of my back wheel of my bicycle, and it just hurt so much, man. Like, at that moment, I just thought I was like the worst criminal ever. Like, it was so ridiculous what happened. I was like, I didn't even have the energy to cry or to like react, because I was just so anxious. Like, my heart was pounding, I was hyperventilating. And at that point, I quickly just started pedaling the bike as hard as I could, because I was just so scared of that man, so scared of his father. Like, what if he chases me down the street with a pitchfork or something? Like, I already saw that happening, or like with a knife or something. So yeah, I start biking as hard as I can, and I see Dennis running and crying behind me, and I see his older sister is also running behind me, and they're like, wait, no, come back, don't go away, no. I swear to God, their reactions were like, thinking about it now, I think multiple kids were just scared away by their dad. Like, their dad was just a psychopath. And was I wrong by not asking for the candy? Yes, of course I was. But to be overreacting like this is just crazy, Like, this man is just crazy. And I wasn't wrong when I thought that this man was already crazy at the beginning of the story, when I told you about, him coming to our elementary school and raising a ruckus. Because my dear boy Dennis did something wrong. There just needs to be balance in life, There needs to be balance in like raising a kid. Like, you can't be too strict, but you can also not be too soft, because then you spoil the kids. But I mean, children, they don't know any better, man. They never learn when they're kids, because they're kids, they're stupid. So yeah, it was definitely a scary experience, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed. The best way to support my channel is to binge watch my story videos. They are showing up on the screen right now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button. It would mean the world to me. Subscribe if you are new on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.